Hey there, want to make your voice heard at a Board of Supervisors meeting? We're all ears. Here's how you can get involved. First, hop online and look at the agendas. This will give you the scoop on what's coming up before the board. Each agenda item includes a brief description of the issue, the recommendations, and potential impacts. If you need more detail, check out the detailed reports online. Those are called board letters. Then, decide if you want to speak at Tuesday's general legislative session or Wednesday's land use session. You'll have 3 opportunities to have your say. Let's start with non-agenda public comment. This is your chance to talk about things that aren't on the agenda, but try and keep your topic related to county government. For non-agenda public comments, you can speak at either the Tuesday or Wednesday session, but not both. So pick your day accordingly. And keep in mind, the board can't act on the spot. They'll refer your comments to the Chief Administrative Officer, who will look into the issue. Last thing, the board will hear from the first 10 speakers, 5 in person and 5 by phone at the beginning of the session. Then all the remaining speakers will get their chance to speak after the discussion items. During the consent agenda, the board handles a bunch of routine items with 1 vote. If you want to comment on an item, keep it simple. For example, I'm John Doe speaking on item 5, and I agree with approving the contract. Discussion items are the main event where the board debates before making a decision. Want to speak at one of the meetings? It's really easy. Just hop online and fill out a quick request form at publiccomment.sandiegocounty.gov. Pick the meeting you're interested in, hit the register button, then fill in your details. Make sure to include a phone number if you plan on speaking by phone. Prefer speaking at the podium in the board chamber? No problem. Just pick the in-person option. After that, just check off the agenda items you want to talk about and let them know you're for, against, or neutral on them. Hit register and you're good to go. A confirmation email will land in your inbox to wrap it up. If you're speaking by phone, the email will include the instructions for how to dial in. Be sure to submit your request early. Once public comment begins on the agenda item, we can't take any more requests to speak. And if you have documents, hand them to the deputy clerk when it's your turn to speak at the podium. Now, you get 2 minutes to speak, but if lots of people want to talk, it might get cut to 1 minute. So, you might want to consider writing 2 sets of comments, one for 2 minutes, another one for 1. That way, if time's cut, you won't be scrambling. There's also a countdown clock at the podium to keep you on track. Once you're at the podium, stay on topic. Stick to the current agenda item. If you stray off topic, you might get a gentle nudge to get back to the point. Keep your comments related to the agenda item's recommendations because that's what the board is relying on to make a decision. Also, speak directly to the board. They're the ones making the decision. When your time's up, it's up. Overstaying might mean getting muted or even asked to leave. Now for some ground rules. For safety, keep aisles and doorways clear. If there isn't a seat, head across the hall to room 302 or the 4th floor balcony to watch the meeting. Respect is huge. Everyone should feel heard. That means you, other speakers, and the Board of Supervisors. Disruptive behavior gets 1 warning, and after that, a deputy sheriff might show you the door. So let's keep it respectful. Your voice matters, and we want to hear from you. Remember, we're all here to make a difference.
Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. If folks could please take your seats. I now call the April 21, 2026 San Diego County Board of Supervisors regular meeting and redevelopment successor agency meeting to order. We would like to take a moment to acknowledge the land we call home. There are communities in the San Diego region that face unjust conditions and circumstances related to the environments in which they live. The tribal nations of the San Diego region are an example of one community that has historically faced such injustices. We acknowledge the harmony that existed between the land, nature, and its original peoples, who have since endured displacement, persecution, and systemic oppression. We pay our respect to the unceded territory and homelands of the 18 tribal nations in our region, the most in any county in the United States, from 4 cultural groups: the Kumeyaay Digueño, the Luiseño, the Cupeño, and the Kaiwea. We aspire to learn from indigenous traditional knowledge and experiences in undoing the injustices of the past. Andrew, please call the roll.
Thank you, Chair Lawson-Remer. Supervisor Anderson. Here. Supervisor Desmond. Here. Chair Pro Tem Aguirre.
Here.
Vice Chair Montgomery Stepp.
Here.
And Chair Lawson-Remer.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we already had our pledge, which was led by the Girl Scouts of San Diego at our annual volunteer recognition event this morning. They were fabulous. And we will now have Very Reverend Pakrad Berjerkian deliver the invocation. Please stand.
Let us pray. Almighty God, creator of heaven and earth, author of all wisdom and justice, we gather before you this morning as servants of this community, people of many backgrounds and beliefs, united by a common hope that the work done in this chamber will be done well and for the good of all. We ask for your blessing upon the members of this board as they take up the responsibilities of this day. Grant them clarity of mind to weigh what is true, courage of heart to act on what is right, and the humility to remember that they serve not themselves, but the people of this county. May the decisions made here reflect the dignity that belongs to every human life. May disagreement, when it comes, be met with patience. May the vulnerable find advocates in this room, and may justice and compassion walk together in all that is deliberated. We remember today in particular those communities who have known suffering and loss, and we renew our commitment that such suffering is not to be forgotten, and that the work of human dignity continues. Guide this board, bless this county, and may the work of this day be worthy of the trust placed in your hands, in these hands. Amen.
Thank you. We will now proceed with the proclamations. The first proclamation will be given by Vice Chair Montgomery Stepp, honoring African American Wellness Center for Children and Families. Accepting the proclamation will be Cynthia Gilliam.
Good morning, come on up. Morning. Well, good morning, everyone. Hello, I am Supervisor Monica Montgomery Stepp, and it is truly an honor to be here with you all this morning to recognize an organization rooted in purpose and healing. The African American Wellness Center for Children and Families was created with a clear and powerful mission to support, uplift, and heal Black families, beginning with the women who are the backbone of their communities. Special thank you to the center's founder, Marilyn M. English, whose leadership and vision were shaped by lived experience and a deep commitment to equity, healing, and systemic change. This women-led organization is grounded in compassion, advocacy, and cultural dignity, which shows in the safe spaces and community they create. Through prevention-focused services, workshops, youth programs, healing forums, and family stabilization support, the center is supporting mothers, grandmothers, daughters, and caregivers. In recognizing Black women as leaders, advocates, and change makers, this organization is helping to build a more equitable and thriving future for the next generation. It is my honor, on behalf of the County of San Diego Board of Supervisors, to present this proclamation to the African American Wellness Center for Children and Families in recognition of your dedication to healing, empowerment, and strengthening families across our region. And with that, I'll just read the last line. Whereas the County of San Diego is committed to recognizing and honoring those individuals and organizations that are dedicated to the best ideals of public service, and the African American Wellness Center for Children and Families is one such worthy organization. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by Chair Tara Lawson-Remer and all members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this 21st day of April 2026, that they commend the African American Wellness Center for Children and Families for their outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the citizens of San Diego County, and do hereby declare this day to be African American Wellness Center for Children and Families throughout San Diego County. Congratulations.
Good morning. I'm deeply honored to stand before you today on behalf of the African American Center for Children and Families to accept this proclamation recognizing April as a National Child Abuse Prevention Month. This moment is not just recognition, it is a reminder of what is possible when communities come together to protect our children, to strengthen our families, and to build a future rooted in love, dignity, and support. We believe in empowerment over dependency. Families already hold strength within them. Our role is to walk alongside them, not ahead of them. Every parent, every child, every family we serve represents resilience, courage, and hope. To the families, thank you. Thank you for trusting us with your stories, your journeys, and your healing. Your willingness to keep going even in the face of adversity is what makes this work meaningful. To our community partners, staff, and supporters, you dedicate and ensure that families are not navigating systems alone. You created space where children are safe, where parents are supported, and where healing can begin. To our leaders and decision makers, thank you for recognizing that prevention is not just a program or an afterthought. It is a promise that every child deserves to connect to family and community, a promise that investment in families before crisis, not respond after. Today, we accept a proclamation with gratitude and with renewed commitment to continue building communities where all children are seen, supported, and given every opportunity to thrive. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The second proclamation, Vice Chair Montgomery said you are apologies. The second proclamation will be given by Vice Chair Montgomery Stepp and Chair Pro Tem Aguirre honoring Child Abuse Prevention Month. Accepting the proclamation will be Alfredo Guardado. Apologies, Alfredo.
All right, come on up. Yeah, anyone, everybody can come up and receive this great recognition for all the work that you do. Don't be shy. Okay, good morning again. Very honored again to be here, recognizing April as National Child Abuse Prevention Month. This month serves as a reminder that it takes community to protect our most vulnerable children and to ensure our families have the resources that they need. Child abuse and neglect can manifest in many different ways and causes long-term psychological, emotional, and physical harm. Preventing abuse and intervening when we suspect something is wrong are critical responsibilities that we all share. Today in San Diego County, we have organizations that play an essential role in child abuse prevention, including one that is here with us today. Through the county's Child and Family Wellbeing Department, our community is able to advance coordinated, equitable pathways to health, stability, and well-being for those who need it most. In fact, over the past decade, San Diego County has achieved more than a 50% reduction in the number of children affected by abuse and neglect, further highlighting the ongoing effectiveness of prevention and early intervention strategies. I encourage everyone here today to learn more about how you can help support our local child advocacy organizations and make San Diego County a place where every child is valued and protected. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chair Pro Tem Aguirre.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, a time to focus not only on awareness, but on action. It's a reminder that every child deserves to grow up in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment, and that protecting children is a responsibility we all share. Child abuse and neglect can happen in any community. Often it is rooted in stress, isolation, and lack of support, not a lack of care. When families are overwhelmed and don't have the resources they need, small challenges can grow into serious risks. That's why prevention begins with strengthening families before a crisis occurs. That's why our county's Child and Family Wellbeing Department continues to take a proactive approach, strengthening and refining prevention and early intervention practices to better support families before challenges escalate. Just as important, we must approach this issue with compassion. Families facing challenges are not the problem. They are part of the solution when they're supported, respected, and given the tools to succeed. This month, let's recommit to building a culture where seeking help is seen as strength, where families are supported, and where every child is valued and protected. Because when we support families, we prevent harm. And when we prevent harm, we give children the chance to reach their full potential. It is now my honor to read the last part of this proclamation. Now therefore be it proclaimed by Chair Tara Lawson-Remer and all members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this 21st day of April 2026 that we commend the County of San Diego Child and Family Wellbeing Department for their outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the citizens of San Diego County, and do hereby proclaim this month to be Child Abuse Prevention Month throughout San Diego County. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Chair Montgomery Stepp and Chair Pro Tem Aguirre. Thank you for this recognition and for your continued partnership in advancing child and family well-being across our region. At Child and Family Wellbeing, our mission is rooted in prevention, ensuring families have the support they need before challenges escalate. We are strengthening front-end services, expanding partnerships to reduce entries into foster care and keep families safely together. Our approach prioritizes connection, linking families to community-based resources that build stability and resilience. While child protection remains critical, we know that strong, supported families are the most effective form of prevention. This proclamation honors not just our work, but our collective effort of our amazing staff who do an amazing job every single day, our amazing partners who are standing here next to me, and the community members who are committed to creating safe, thriving environments for children. Thank you for this recognition of this important work. Really do appreciate it on behalf of the Child and Family Wellbeing Department. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. The third proclamation will be given by Chair Pro Tem Aguirre, honoring the Tijuana River Coalition. Accepting the proclamation will be Courtney Baltiski, Sarah Davidson, and Tiffany Curry.
Come on up, everybody. All of you. Wild Coast in the back, get over here. Yes. Come on up, come on up. How are you? All right. Today, I am proud to recognize the Tijuana River Coalition for its outstanding leadership and tireless advocacy on the Tijuana River pollution crisis. I am incredibly honored to welcome Courtney Batilski, Sarah Davidson, Tiffany Curry, and everyone that's standing behind me who is part of the coalition and is joining us today to accept this proclamation. For those of you who may not know, the Tijuana River Coalition brings together more than 65 community-based organizations, elected officials, academic and public health institutions, and government agencies with a shared vision to confront the ongoing public health crisis in the Tijuana River watershed and advance real, lasting solutions that protect our residents and environment. This is not just a coalition in name. It is a powerful example of regional collaboration in action. The coalition is not only addressing the immediate impacts of transborder pollution, but also elevating the deeper historic inequities that have contributed to this crisis. This includes confronting the reality of environmental racism, where marginalized and frontline communities have disproportionately borne the burdens of pollution and underinvestment in infrastructure and public health protections. Over the past year alone, the coalition has demonstrated remarkable impact, submitting advocacy letters, mobilizing public comment and testimony, raising awareness, and convening dozens of meetings and events to keep the issue at the forefront of public dialogue and policy action. Their work is not only urgent, it is essential, and as someone who lives the issue along with my neighbors every single day, I am grateful to you all for your continued advocacy and support. Especially when it was a time back in 2024 when the hydrogen sulfide gases were at the highest we've ever experienced it. Many families were struggling to breathe. And some folks in power denied that happening. And I just want to thank you all for showing courage in those moments when we could have cowered and stood back. But you all stood there shoulder to shoulder, speaking truth to power for the benefit of our South Bay communities. So I am incredibly grateful for that work that you have done. And on behalf of Chair Lawson Reamer and the members of the Board of Supervisors, we are so honored to commend the Tijuana River Coalition for its exceptional service, leadership, and dedication to the people of our region, and do hereby declare today, the 21st day of April, as Tijuana River Coalition Day throughout San Diego County.
It is emotional. Thank you so much, and it's an honor to be here. My name is Courtney Baltiski, and I'm the Vice President of Public Policy with the YMCA. And it's been about 3 years now that we were fortunate enough to jump on the shoulders of giants who have been working on this issue for decades. How long? Decades. They're shy. They're feeling shy today. But it's an incredible journey, and we're just getting started. Please raise your hand if you believe that sustainable change is needed for the Tijuana River Valley and that the pollution crisis needs to continue to be addressed. Now raise them again, and again, and again. And that's the wave. That's the wave that we are going to keep riding together. Because with the Tijuana River Coalition, we work collaboratively to build communities, share information, advocate for solutions, and elevate community voices in our effort to address the ongoing public health crisis in the Tijuana watershed. We know that a number of our partners have received proclamations before. Stop the Sewage from Coronado High School, Dr. Stigler-Granados, and Dr. Prather, and it's an honor to be here today with you all. And with that, I will turn it over to Tiffany Curry to speak a little bit about the areas of impact for the coalition.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Tiffany Curry with Outdoor Outreach, and I'm honored to speak on behalf of the Tijuana River Coalition today. An ecosystem is most resilient when it's diverse, and humans are no different. Our approach to solving this issue reflects the same principles. The coalition brings together a wide range of partners, each offering very unique perspectives and expertise. We work independently and collaboratively on this issue, and our advocacy efforts are centered around 5 main pillars that include public health, ecological impacts, coastal access, national security, and economic impact. By uniting diverse voices and perspectives, we have built a strong community of advocates. We find humanity and connection together along the way as we move towards a vision of thriving communities and a healthy ecosystem. And I'll pass it to my dear colleague, Sarah Davidson.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Davidson. I manage the Clean Border Water Now program at the Surfrider Foundation. And I wanted to extend a heartfelt thank you from all of us in the coalition to you, Chair Pro Tem Aguirre, Chair Lawson-Remer, and all of the supervisors. Thank you for this incredible recognition and honor, and also for all of your dedication and leadership to advocate for and heal the Tijuana River watershed. Chair Pro Tem Aguirre, every movement needs a leader who inspires and perseveres through seemingly insurmountable odds. For us, that is you. I sincerely believe that without your courage and persistence, we would not be where we are today. To express our gratitude, members of the coalition collectively created an art piece called Advocate and Heal, which you see here. There is one panel for each of the supervisors, and like our coalition, the panels work well, both independently and together. They feature the Tijuana River Coalition logo, which was designed by local artist Josue Baltazar. The logo brings together various elements to symbolize the dedication to advocacy for and protection of the Tijuana River region, which includes both sides of the US-Mexico border. The design aims to convey a sense of interconnectedness and call attention to the need to protect our natural environment and the communities along the entire Tijuana River region. This art piece is a symbol of our collective vision for the river, for our region and our communities. We know the road to reaching this vision is long, and we are grateful to be working alongside the Board of Supervisors and the many dedicated community members and advocates on both sides of the border to get there. Thank you for your continued leadership on this journey.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you all so much for everything. The fourth proclamation will be given by Supervisor Anderson. Oh, thank you. Very cool. This is awesome. Okay, The fourth proclamation will be given by Supervisor Anderson, honoring the Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day. Accepting the proclamation will be Very Reverend Pakrard Burjakian.
Come on up. Good morning, everyone. It truly means a lot to see you all here today. Sadly, from 1915 to 1923, the Ottoman Empire initiated a systematic persecution of its Armenian population, leading to the deaths of over 1.5 million Armenians in a genocide. Thank you for gathering this morning as we come together to honor and remember the victims of the Armenian genocide. Your presence is a powerful reminder that their stories, their lives, and their legacies will never be forgotten. The initiative you've shown in organizing and supporting today's remembrance demonstrates the strength of our community and our shared commitment to justice, understanding, and healing. I want to express my sincere gratitude for your dedication and your willingness to stand with the Armenian community. Your participation today reflects profound respect and solidarity. The proclamation this morning is a tribute to the Armenian community in reaffirming our commitment to the remembrance and recognition. Now I'd like to read the last paragraph of the proclamation. Be it proclaimed by all members of the San Diego Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim this 21st day of April as Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day throughout San Diego County, in solemn recognition of this tragedy and that has been long denied. Reverend, I'm going to give this to you for a second as I introduce you. I'd like to now introduce Reverend Burjakian from St. Sarkis Armenian Church. Say it again. How do I pronounce it? Sarkis. Sarkis. In my defense, I have a hard time with my own last name. So, Reverend, thank you for championing in this acknowledgement of the tragedy in prioritizing the remembrance in our community. And I want to do just a quick shout out. We are so fortunate to have such an incredible DA, and I'm looking forward to hearing what she has to say too. But Reverend, it's your turn to speak, and I can hold this for you in the interim.
Distinguished guests, Supervisor Anderson and friends, brothers and sisters, we gather here this morning to bear witness, to say with one voice that what happened to the Armenian people beginning in 1915 was real. It was deliberate and it must never be forgotten. 1.5 million souls were silenced. Entire communities that were rooted for centuries in their ancient homeland were uprooted from their ancestral home for their faith. They were marched into the desert and erased. Mothers, children, fathers, priests, teachers, all gone. But the Armenian people were not erased. They survived. They rebuilt. They carried their language, their faith, and their memory across oceans and into communities like ours here in San Diego. Every Armenian American in this room is a living proof that genocide did not have the final word. We are here because memory is not passive. To remember is an act of resistance. It is a moral obligation to the dead, to the survivors, and to every generation that comes after. When we name what happened. When we call it a genocide, we stand on the side of the truth. And truth, however long delayed, is the only foundation on which justice can be built. On behalf of the St. Sarkis Armenian parish and community, I thank Supervisor Joel Anderson and the San Diego County for opening these doors and making space for this remembrance. May we leave this room more committed to memory, to justice, and to the enduring light of the Armenian spirit. We remember. Now I would like to introduce our beloved DA, Mrs. Summer Stefan, who is an adored member of the Armenian community of San Diego.
I'm Summer Stefan, San Diego County's district attorney, and it's an honor to be introduced by the very Reverend Pakrad Berjekian. And I also want to thank Supervisor Joel Anderson and the entire Board of Supervisors for deciding that this is important to remember the Armenian genocide. It's overwhelming to think about 1.5 million people murdered, executed, marched into the desert, and disappearing. So I'm only going to tell you one story, and it's a story of a little girl named Therese. She was a beautiful little girl. She was very, very excited because her mom was pregnant. So finally, she wasn't going to be the littlest one in the family, and she could be the big sister to the new baby coming. When the Armenian genocide started and it went into Mardin, where this little girl lived, her father was executed, all of the boys in the family, and the men were executed. The women were made to march into the desert. Her mom, very pregnant, walked miles, and finally they arrived to Egypt, to a distant aunt, and her mom succumbed to disease, so she was orphaned. She remained with a very resilient spirit that is the signature of the Armenian community, a signature of never lying down, always standing up for truth and right, always defending the most vulnerable, always being kind, always being generous, always being truthful. And she finally ended up in the United States. This little girl, Therese, was my grandmother and my inspiration for everything that I do, and the reason that I fight for justice for my community, the Armenian community, but for every vulnerable community around the world. We know that when we forget about history, that it's bound to be repeated. Sadly, sometimes it's bound to be repeated even when we remember it. But we have a chance to erase and not repeat a terrible history by remembering it. So I am very grateful for the remembrance of the Armenian genocide today, to honor my grandmother and many of our people's grandmothers and great-grandmothers. At this time, it's my privilege to introduce my friend and a pillar of the Armenian community and the community in general in San Diego, Kathy Kasarjian. She is a person of action. She goes and she helps orphan children. She always honors her heritage by her courageous and generous actions. Kathy?
Good morning, supervisors and guests. I am honored to be introduced by my dear friend, Summer Stefan. Thank you, Summer. As an Armenian American and descendant of the genocide survivor, I stand before you today with a heavy heart and an unbreakable spirit. In 1915, 1.5 million lives were lost. Our ancestors endured unimaginable horrors during the Armenian genocide. Families torn apart, lives stolen, and homeland lost forever. This is not history. It is deeply personal to me. I never had a chance to meet my grandparents, my uncles and aunts, and to hear their voices or to feel their embrace. And yet, even in the face of such darkness, our people survived. They carried their pain, but also their faith and their hope scattered across the world. They rebuilt their lives with courage, with dignity, and with an enduring belief in freedom and justice. So today, let us do more than remember, but to feel, to honor their suffering by standing up against injustice, speak the truth when it is difficult, and to choose compassion, peace, and humanity. I want to express my deepest gratitude to Supervisor Joel Anderson and to all San Diego supervisors for recognizing Armenian Commemoration Day. This acknowledgement means more than words can express. It is a step toward embracing, remembering, respect, and truth. May we never forget 1915 and always have the courage to stand for what is right. Thank you.
I have a good friend here that is not scheduled to speak, but John Dadian wanted to say a word.
Good morning, everyone. First thing I want to say, I'm going to say this straight out bluntly. The Armenian community has no better friend than Joel Anderson. God bless him for doing this. And this proclamation is signed by all 5 supervisors. A lot of people don't realize San Diego County is the 5th largest county in the country. This is huge. The last time Supervisor Anderson did this type of ceremony, it got intense media coverage. In Armenia, it made the paper, it made the evening news about little old San Diego. So everybody's got to realize the importance of this. Armenians, since the massacre, have assimilated into this country. They've become district attorneys. We had a governor of this state. But some had to change their name for different reasons. I'll just give you 2 brief examples. Who knows, raise your hand, who knows who Sherilyn Sarkeesian is? One person. Well, nobody. I expect all you to know. Just one person. Sherilyn Sarkeesian, you might know as Cher. So Armenians have a rich tradition in this country of participating in all different sports, entertainment, etc. The next one is whose name changed. And the reason I'm bringing up his name change is because we're talking about the genocide. The famous tennis player, Andre Agassi. That is not his original name. His ancestors were in Armenia during the massacre. And Andre writes in his book that the reason they changed their name, because when it ends in IAN, that's a dead giveaway that it's Armenian. The reason his family changed their name, and this is a direct quote from his book, is because the Turks were walking down the middle of the street and using Armenians as target practice. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the genocide. Let's never forget. And Supervisor Anderson and the entire board, thank you again.
I couldn't have done this without my colleagues. If they'd like to join us in the photo, we would welcome you. I think they want us to move up here for the photo.
Where do you want us?
Right up here. Come up in front.
I don't know. Let's see. Come on.
Thank you all very much. The final proclamation will be given by Supervisor Desmond, honoring Month of the Military Child. Accepting the proclamation will be Samantha Holt.
Yes. Kind of let him file out. I'm not going to bite. Come on. Oh, no, she told me to come over here. Come on. She told me to come over here. Who's she? Who's she? Well, one of you can come over here. Okay, just kind of even it out.
How's that?
There we go. Good.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, Dadian. Keep it down. Well, good morning, everyone. It's been a great morning of acknowledging many, many different groups and great groups in the Armenian community as well. This morning, we also had all of our volunteer award recipients coming forward. We want to thank everyone who steps up and volunteers. And we've got another great organization here. I want to extend a special welcome to the Armed Forces YMC Camp Pendleton, the Executive Director, Samantha Holt, and her team for joining us here today. This is the month, April is the month of the military child. And this is a proclamation for all of the military children. It's a time to honor the resilience, strength, and the sacrifices of children whose parents serve in the United States Armed Forces. These young individuals face unique challenges, including frequent relocations, separations of their parents due to deployments, and the need to continually adapt to new schools, communities, and friends. And if you remember growing up, you know, your friends that you had near and dear, if you had to leave them every couple of years and go to a new school and have to go through and endure that, it was very, very difficult on the family and particularly on the spouses and on the children. But despite the obstacles, military children consistently demonstrate remarkable courage, flexibility, and perseverance. And the Armed Forces YMC Camp Pendleton, great organization, serving Camp Pendleton, plays a vital role in supporting and strengthening military families and providing programs, resources, and a nurturing environment that provides the well-being and development of the military children. Through their efforts, military children are recognized, supported, and empowered to thrive. Last year, our office was truly grateful to support the Armed Forces YMCA during the holidays using grant funds. We helped bring joy to many of these children whose parents were overseas or they're gone someplace else during the holidays. We helped bring some joy to these children of all ages through their event at Santa's Workshop. We also want to extend our deepest gratitude to the military children and their extraordinary resilience, and to the organizations such as the Armed Forces YMCA who support them. So the County of San Diego, we're very proud to honor those who exemplify the highest ideals of service, and the Armed Forces YMCA Camp Pendleton stands among them. On behalf of myself and the San Diego County Board of Supervisors, we commend the Armed Forces YMCA Camp Pendleton for their outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the community. And we proudly declare April as the month of the military child and recognize Armed Services YMCA Camp Pendleton Day throughout San Diego County. So we have a proclamation. Give them a round of applause, please. You want to hold that? Well, she's going to speak, I think. And I want to introduce Samantha Holt, who's going to make some remarks today. Thank you.
Good morning. On behalf of the Armed Services YMCA Camp Pendleton, thank you to Supervisor Desmond for his incredible support over the years, and also to the Supervisor's Office for this meaningful proclamation and the recognition of our military families. I'm Samantha Holt, the Executive Director of the Armed Services YMCA Camp Pendleton. This is Brittany Marquis, our Director of Programs, and Sheila Bularan, our Director of Finance and HR. This recognition is especially meaningful as we celebrate the month of the military child. a time dedicated to honoring the strength and resilience of the youngest members of our military community. In today's climate, many families are navigating deployments, long separations, and constant change. Military children carry a unique burden, adjusting to new schools, missing parents, and finding strength beyond their years. Serving over 36,000 service members and their families, we are proud to support them through trusted childcare, youth programs, and family services that create stability, connection, and sense of belonging during uncertain times. To our donors and community partners, thank you. Your support makes this work possible and directly impacts the lives of the families that we serve. And to our military families, especially the children we honor this month, this recognition is for you. We are honored to stand with you because when we support a military child, we strengthen a military family, and in doing so, we strengthen our military community. Again, thank you, Supervisor Desmond, for all of your support.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, come up front here. Okay.
Okay, thank you all very much. Okay, so before we begin this meeting, I will take a moment to address House rules. Under our board's rules, speakers may not use loud shouting, threatening, impertinent, slanders, profane, or abusive language to any member of the board, staff, or the general public. Additionally, all remarks and questions must remain on topic during the duration of your speaking time and must be addressed to the board, not to county staff. Any speaker who engages in comments that break these rules will be issued a warning. After one warning, will be asked to leave the chambers for the remainder of the meeting. Finally, speakers threatening violence may be reported to law enforcement and removed from the meeting. This is a space for community engagement, deliberation, and progress, not for harassment, violence, and hate. So we begin with non-agenda public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to address the board on subject matters within the board's jurisdiction, but not an item on our meeting agenda today. The only action we would take is a referral to the CAO. Under board rules, speakers may speak once per meeting for non-agenda public comment, either at today's general legislative session or tomorrow's land use session, but not both. You may select which to address at your convenience. We will have 5 non-agenda speakers in person and 5 non-agenda speakers by phone at the beginning of the meeting. The first 5 speakers in person will be randomly selected. The remainder of non-agenda public comment will be heard at the close of the session. Additionally, in accordance with board rules, in order to ensure timely completion of today's agenda for any discussion item with 10 or more speakers, individuals will have 1 minute to share their opinion. Members of the public that are non-English speaking and need interpretation assistance receive twice the allotted time for their comments. And a final reminder, audience members shall not whistle, clap, stomp feet, or do anything that disrupts the proceedings. If you disrupt the meeting, you'll be given 1 warning, and after that warning, if you disrupt the meeting again, you'll be directed to leave the chamber for the remainder of the meeting. Andrew, please call the non-agenda public speakers.
Thank you, Chair Lawson-Remer. We have 16 requests to speak on matters not listed on the agenda. 7 individuals in person and 9 requesting to speak by phone. For those that requested to speak by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers, and we'll now randomly select the first 5 speakers in person. All the remaining speakers will be heard at the conclusion of today's session. As your name is called, please come forward and stand on the arrows until it is your turn to speak at the podium. You will have 2 minutes to address the board, and I'll ask you to begin by stating your name for the audio record. The first 3 individuals will be Mark, Michael Brando, Cesar Javier, and they'll be followed by the remaining 2 individuals, allegedly Audra and Carlos Donato. If I've called your name, please come forward.
I used the name Michael.
How many of you knew what a county supervisor was before COVID? Be honest. We saved you. How many of you knew what a county supervisor was before COVID? Be honest. We saved you.
We hear a lot of things that I could take personal, a lot of inaccuracies, battling what is just absolute fiction and saying it in a public arena that is just not factual. How do we combat that? How do we combat that?
The hypocrisy. That's why I come here, because people need to keep an eye on you evildoers, and that includes you, Monica Montgomery Stepford. At 10:13, you announced a proclamation for Child Abuse Prevention Month. How evil can it get? It was this very board that hired Nick Mascione as director of Paloma. He was the director of HHS, and had Wilma Wooten as his quote-unquote public health officer. And she at that time said that she was really excited about injecting babies with poison. The COVID-19 injection for babies, when all of that was based on an outrageous scam. If you can read, I suggest you take a look at this book, Jim, all of you. You too, Damon. It's called Virus Mania. There's over 1,000 footnotes in this about the scam of the last 100 years, which coalesced into the diabolical evil of what this board promoted and then tried to foist it upon babies. We do not consent. We do not comply. You will fail. You have already failed.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning, Supervisors. My name is Carlos Donato. I'm here on behalf of the Policy Research Center for Tobacco and the Environment, a partnership between SAY San Diego and San Diego State University. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. Tobacco product waste is a widespread and persistent issue across San Diego County, impacting our public spaces, neighborhoods, and natural environments. Cigarette butts and other tobacco-related litter are among most commonly discarded items, often accumulating in parks, sidewalks, beaches, and nearby schools and transit stops. Because of the small size and widespread use, these products are frequently overlooked, yet they contribute significantly to the overall litter and pollution throughout the county. When discarded tobacco product waste can easily be carried by wind, rain, or storm drains, eventually reaching creeks, bays, and in our oceans. These products contain toxic chemicals that can leach into soil, water, posing risk to wildlife and contributing to the environment degradation. At the Policy Research Center, we have been conducting research to better understand how tobacco product waste affects environments and the waterways through the county. As cigarette butts break down, the chemicals they contain can leach into the ground, while the plastic filters fragments into microplastics. These microplastics can persist in the environment and continue to pollute the soils and the waterways. We should be glad to share we're more than happy to share any resources, educational materials, or research data that may support the county's efforts to address this issue. On a personal note, before working at the center, at the Policy Research Center, I did not think much about tobacco product waste. Like many other people, I would see the product waste on the ground without fully recognizing the environmental impact that it's making. Throughout the research and community work, I have known to understand the widespread harmful issues. Thank you for the time, for your attention to this issue. We appreciate the opportunity to share our work and our resources. I have also provided a debrief for you guys to look into, and I appreciate if you guys to put it in the record. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Mark, everyone must see the YouTube video entitled Whitney Webb Sounds Alarm. Tech billionaires have completely taken over government. Webb is spelled W-E-B-B. This is an emergency and people have no time left to be ignorant. Some key points are: public-private partnerships have taken over the state of Ohio, effectively making the CEOs dictators who are forcing single-family homes to pay about $700 per month for electricity to power AI data centers. AI data centers are what Larry Ellison's corporation, Oracle, needs to store all of your data to control every facet of your life, as he says at 25 minutes in this World Government Summit in the YouTube video entitled Algocracy, Government for the New World Order. Also see these YouTube video titles. Oracle CEO Larry Ellison in 2024 about AI surveillance. Oracle is genuinely far scarier than BlackRock. The Agenda, Their Vision, Your Future 2025 full documentary 4K. What is the Resilient Cities Network? End of titles. See that last title at 5 minutes, 28 seconds. The same model that has taken over Ohio is ruining Imperial County and San Diego and will soon spread all over California as it has in Ohio, skyrocketing people's electricity rates. The end game for corporations to enslave us all forever is happening now, and only we the people can quickly share these videos with each other and peacefully stop this. This board will do nothing to help, and we will not get another chance.
So I've got about 15 seconds left. Here's some of the Larry Ellison videos that I was citing. These are YouTube video titles where he says straight out that he just needs all the country's data, everything on us, to control the country completely.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hope you caught that, Jim.
Cesar and Purita. Ma'am Monica Stipp, you failed us. Sir Anderson, I do not know why you trying to amplify the historic genocide of our brothers when you yourself, when I asked help from you, I cannot help you, Mr. Javier. I am a San Diegan. Ma'am Aguirre, I talk heartily with you. I am in support of cleaning the mess and the victims of Tijuana River pollution. You failed us. You said, I will help you, Mr. Javier. And our chair, equivalent to governor in a province, was just neglectful, ignored us at the Air Pollution Control District. He's one of the governing board members, a very powerful member, along with the mayor, Gloria, who owns the Air Pollution Control District. Mom, you have still time, help us. We are like victims of genocide now, like the San Diegans in District 8, Imperial Beach City, and unincorporated Otay. Sir Desmond, I know you're a Republican. What shall we do? Help us, or please step down. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
The hypocrisy of Punta Paloma and Manic Monica to come in here and give a proclamation to your child trafficking network for Child Prevention Awareness Month, right? It's so interesting because you guys engage in that. Michael set the stage perfectly. You don't like the lies, Monica, but you guys sit up here and do that. That was an inversion of the truth. Malika and Zaya Robinson are a clear fact of that. And the county, along with Damon, Elizabeth, Alfredo Guardado, the Child Trafficking Network, are set to terminate Evelyn's parental rights. And you said just listen and comply, and you'll get your kids back, right? How would you feel if that was your child and they said that you can't be a mom anymore? But you know what? We do want you to be siblings with your twin siblings so we can take them. That's what happened. The child trafficking network came into the hospital to take twin babies, saying that there was neglect in the hospital. Tara, imagine if as soon as you have your child, they come in and say there's neglect happening and they take your baby and then terminate your rights to be a mom. Probably wouldn't matter because you like to rip babies apart limb by limb anyway. And that's the sad thing, is there is an inversion of reality happening right now. And you guys are disgusting to do that to children. That's even a bigger slap in the face to sit and give an award to the people that are perpetrating it.
We'll now hear from those that requested to speak by phone. Again, in accordance with the board's rules, we'll be hearing from the first 5 callers. The remaining callers will be heard at the conclusion of today's session. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments. We will start with our first caller. First caller.
Okay, Consuelo here. Can you hear me? I hope you didn't start my time yet. But anyways, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to go. Okay, wow. Okay, the things you guys have to do in order for the scam of government to continue, unbelievable. Every name that was just read off for those volunteer awards was getting paid a whole hell of a lot of money while they just trade off for an award. Disgusting. Just another reminder of the abusive relationship that is government. These volunteers got a little recognition while you guys rake in hundreds of thousands per year, and while they work for free, essentially. Volunteer service, a glorified term for slave labor. And I want to remind the people of my beautiful county, this county board still doesn't work for you. They continue working for the global agendas designed to keep us all on that perpetual hamster wheel straight to tax deal. And there's the pattern, the ceremonies, the proclamations, awards, just enough to keep the people believing the illusion that everything is fine. Well, it's not. Reminder, genocides happen by governments. Environmental racism, right here. Child Abuse Awareness Month, abuse is happening everywhere. Black women-led program. What's a woman, Monica? Can you define a woman? Every single one of your proclamations is hypocrisy. Paloma, you could care less about the TJ River issue. Those crocodile tears that you couldn't even produce on Fox 5, that interview was such a crock. And by the way, the issues with the TJ River continue to be addressed. Keyword, continue, and they will continue, because when you actually look deeper, when people discover the real thorough investigation of what's going on, they'll see a pattern, a 40-year pattern. Everyone allowing these problems to continue gets paid. Imagine that, getting paid not to solve a problem. That's government. And the only reason they're getting away with it is because people have been trained not to talk about politics or religion, taboo topics. That's not accidental. That's all by design to keep people from coming together and exposing the racket. Government. They don't.
We'll hear from the next caller.
Good morning, Paul the Bold. Hope you're listening to the invocation. You need patience. You need to weigh what is right and wrong. Voice of San Diego is suing the county to force the release of whistleblower complaints against the former county contractor. That could shed light on what the county knew before the nonprofit was embroiled in a criminal misappropriation case involving public money. So now you're wasting more of our money. Fees, damages, and reputation. The DA mentioned the documents in court, but the county refuses to release or even redact. We have a constitutional right to them. Article 1, Section 3B of the California Constitution states that the people have a right to access public information and sharing records are open to scrutiny. 2, a statute, court rule, or other authority shall be broadly construed if it furthers the people's right of access and narrowly construed if it limits the right of access. 7, in order to ensure public access to the meetings of public bodies and the writings of public officials and agencies, each local agency is hereby required to comply with the California Public Records Act, beginning at Section 7920 of the Government Code and the Ralph M. Brown Act, Sections 54950 to 63 of the Government Code. You should know the Brown Act by now. The California Public Records Act clarifies that most records held by state and local agencies, regardless of physical form, must be disclosed. That is, any writing containing information relating to the...
Thank you. Your time is up. We'll now hear from the next caller.
Good morning, Board. My name is Kathleen Lippett. Thank you to Supervisors Anderson, Desmond, and their proclamations this morning, and to District Attorney Sumner Stephan. Standing up for truth, to recognize the importance of telling the truth, standing up for justice, and recognizing humans are individuals and should never be reduced to their race, ethnicity, religion, or political ideology. They must recognize that no matter the consequences. The genocide of 1.5 million Armenians resulted from tribalism. Human beings have long history of tribalism, which is at the heart of human genocides and stem from the primitive part of our brain, the amygdala. Most of history was based on one population overpowering another. Western civilization recognized the futility of tribalistic tendencies that never improved the life for the masses. The U.S. attempted to eschew tribal perspectives that justified such atrocities and recognized the need to see every human as an individual. Devolving to tribalism is an ever-present danger that we see playing out today, and we must oppose it. We see it playing out at the Board of Supervisors, and it is really discouraging. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the next caller.
Barbara Gordon. I want to share with you last week the Addiction Policy Forum. They launched their inaugural Cannabis Use Disorder Prevention and Awareness Week. This national educational initiative aimed to increase public understanding of cannabis use disorder, the symptoms of this disorder, highlighting emergency health risks, and promote prevention efforts. As the cannabis use continues to rise across the United States, public perception of its risk remains very low. However, research shows that an estimate over 12 million people meet the criteria for cannabis use disorder, making it the second most substance use disorder after alcohol. Prevention and Awareness Week is an opportunity to ensure individuals, families, communities have the access to accurate, science-based information about cannabis, the risk factors, the prevention resources, and how to get help for those that are struggling with cannabis use disorder. While often perceived as low risk, like we said, research shows that approximately 3 in 10 people who use cannabis will develop the cannabis use disorder, with significantly higher risk among those who began to use during adolescence. Cannabis use also has a broader social impacts, including impaired driving, reduced academic and workplace performance, and increased health utilization. I am urging the Council to not prioritize this industry over the many needs of this county. Your focus and responsibility are public health and safety, not advocating for more marijuana businesses. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the final caller this morning.
It's Truth addressing rampant county corruption as always. First, KPBS owes myself and Mary Davis credit for doing the original public records request into Manuela's overpriced oath event and Tara's invite-only State of the County event. We did those PRAs and went public, not KBBS. So I'll give them as much credit as they gave us, none. Manuela's oath of office used gifted funds from major corporations via an obscure account called a Special Events Trust Fund. Supervisor offices received over $100,000 in secret gifted payments since 2024. Nora 2.0 Manuela at least $33,000, Joel at least $27,000, and Tara at least $42,000. Joel spent over $11,000 on mailers for the 2024 election. Tara spent tens of thousands on the closed to the public State of the County event at the San Diego Natural History Museum, $6,000 for teleprompters, $7,000 for brochures, and $10,000 for catering. SEIU secured raises after donating $5,000 to Tara's office. Otay landfill developer David Wood said, Tara asked if I would fund the dinner at her State of the County, as the county did not have the funds to feed the union minions who were allowed in. The county did not require supervisors and their staff to file publicly posted notices disclosing the gifts until 2023. Many reports were over a year late with no details on spending. Gifts of more than $5,000 required ratification by the entire board. Supervisors obviously know this threshold. Tara Joel Manuela declined interview requests, because this private money shuffling of hidden trust accounts to benefit private campaign coffers and union events via spending that never comes before the public is definitely a misuse of taxpayer funds, and this corrupt board knows it and was hoping we'd never find out. It's time to start filing claims and audit requests, because anyone who doesn't think we can see change, reminder, Helen's gone, Boo's gone, Nathan's gone, Nora's gone, Mashion's gone, Bergman's gone, Claudia Silva's gone, David Smith's gone, DAS is gone. Even Manuela got scared into compliance on finally paying her years overdue property tax bills. No corrupt county bums allowed. You are all going to fall. It is a matter of time. We're just getting started.
Thank you. And Chair Lawson-Remer, that concludes a request for non-agenda public communication this morning. Again, all the remaining speakers will be heard at the conclusion of today's session.
Okay, thank you all so much. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes and statements of proceedings for our sessions on March 24th and 25th, and the minutes for concurrent special district meeting of the County of San Diego Redevelopment Successor Agency of January 28th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Chair Lawson-Remer, that motion passes unanimously with all supervisors being present and voting aye.
Okay, great. Thank you all so much. So we now proceed with the formation of the consent agenda. That's items 1 through 13 and redevelopment successor agency item 1. All items in the consent agenda are routine and will be acted upon with one motion. Individuals may comment on the consent agenda after supervisors pull any items they'd like to pull for discussion or make any comments they'd like to make. So would any of my colleagues have any items to pull or any comments, beginning with Vice Chair?
Thank you so much, Chair. No items to pull, just a quick comment on item number 8. This is an historic step for our county and one that I initiated in December 2024 when I asked my colleagues to authorize a comprehensive assessment of the Behavioral Health Services Department to optimize its role as a health plan. By establishing behavioral health services as a standalone department, we are elevating behavioral health to the level of importance it has always deserved. It recognizes that mental health and substance use treatment are core public services, and it's certainly not the end of the work, it is the foundation. With this structure in place, we can continue building a more responsive, integrated, and effective behavioral health system. I'm proud of the work that brought us here. Thankful to staff for all of your work in this, and I'm supportive of this ordinance as an important step forward for our county. With that, I will move the consent agenda. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We have a motion on the floor. Chair Pro Tem Aguirre.
None to remove. I'm happy to second.
Okay, thank you very much. Supervisor Anderson? Okay, Supervisor Desmond?
I have a question. I might have missed it. Did we move item 5 to?
Yes, so actually the CAO, before the agenda was finalized, had moved item 5.
Okay.
So it'll be the first discussion item.
Okay, I hadn't seen that. And then it says it also, I have a comment to make, but are we also including the redevelopment item in consent? Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. I just want to make a comment. I don't have anything to pull on item 10. This is to enhance traffic safety in the unincorporated areas. There continues to be reports of unsafe driving in communities in the unincorporated areas, especially speeding and driving under the influence, unfortunately. And my office hears a lot of complaints coming from Bonsall, Fallbrook, and the Valley Center areas. This item just establishes a clear county support for any legislation that increases California Highway Patrol presence for the unincorporated county. Additionally, also calls for renewed coordination with local CHP for requesting additional patrol presence and collaboratively sharing data with our Department of Public Works to better identify high-risk areas along the county-maintained roads. So together, these efforts are aimed at deterring unsafe driving in communities and experiencing elevated traffic risks. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We'll now go to public comment.
Thank you, Chair Lawson-Remer. Just to recap, the consent agenda includes items 1 through 4, 6 through 13, and the redevelopment agency item 1. We have 18 requests to speak on items on the consent agenda, 7 in person and 11 requesting to speak by phone. Any individuals that requested to speak on items on the consent agenda by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers. As your name is called, please come forward and stand on the arrows until it is your turn to speak at the podium. You will have 2 minutes to address the board, and I'll ask you to please begin by stating your name for the audio record. Also, when speaking, please identify which item or items on the consent agenda you are speaking about. I'll be calling you in groups of 3, so I'll ask you to please listen for your name. I'd like to invite forward the first 3 individuals, Cesar Javier, Alicia Morrison, and allegedly Audra. I've called your name. Please come forward.
Cesar and Purita. For 5 years now, we have been consistently joining you, thinking along with you, and acting on ourselves to help ourselves so you may help us. Doesn't reflect the priority at this very hour. I heard that from the declaration of Sir Desmond, sorry, we have an emergency fund. No, you do not touch that unless it's a crisis. But we have a crisis, and it's not even in this consent, even a scratch, like the health issue brought about by Ma'am Aguirre. People are sick and dying. Is that not a crisis, sir? Ma'am? Ms. Dames? Sir Anderson? Item 1, yes, competitive procurement, please. Number 2, use of fund for, what is this, landscape? And 3, use of fund not to renew military equipment. Why do we need to renew or make a modernized military equipment? Come to think of it, our enemies, unseen enemy, air pollution, environmental hazards. Oh, never mind, that's Madam Stip. Never mind, we are immune from the force of law. Few more years, we are out. Bye, San Diegans. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. Alicia Morrison for the record. This is for item 10. Thank you very much, Supervisor Desmond, for bringing this important item today. But I would also like this to extend to include the unincorporated area of Lincoln Acres in District 1. We too have excessive speeding on our streets in our community, which falls under the jurisdiction of the CHP. We have hit and runs on our vehicles that are parked on our narrow streets. Frequently, I call the CHP to patrol my community. We have double parking in cul-de-sacs, illegal dumping next to the La Vista Cemetery, vehicles with expired tags parked on the streets, and illegal motorhome camping. But more seriously, there is a bar in an adjacent community that utilizes the unincorporated streets as overflow parking. Often we'll see red Solo cups that are littering our unincorporated streets of Lincoln Acres, which suggests the bar establishment is allowing off-premise of alcohol to be taken off the premise. The bar establishment is a quarter mile from a northbound on-ramp to the Freeway 805, and 1 mile on-ramp to the Highway 54. Grove Street has radar-enforced postings of 25-mile-hour zone, but is nothing more than a scare tactic that does not work. Adding more CHP to patrol unincorporated areas is essential for public safety. Thank you.
Thank you. As the next speaker is coming forward, I'll invite 3 additional speakers, Michael Brando, Mark, and Andrea Ebbing.
Man, are you guys so abusive? It's crazy. Number 4, district attorney. No, the RICO enterprise ringleader does not deserve to have any kind of military equipment or have any connection to that in any way when she is a child abduction unit and she goes and abducts children and is working to put people in all these Prop 36 diversion programs. It's cool though, right? It makes you guys a lot of money. And now let's go to the behavioral health. So it's crazy when psychopaths literally traumatize people and then they say, you have a behavioral health issue. But it's okay, we have a program for you. Right? I mean, imagine being a child and, these adults come and they're like, we're going to take you from your parents. And you're screaming and crying, going, no, I want to go home. And they're like, no, listen, we're going to have to change your behavior. Okay? And if you don't capitulate, we're going to go ahead and put you on some psychotropic drugs and different things because we need you guys to behave yourself. Okay? You can't be upset that your parents can no longer see you every day. You're just going to have to deal with it. And if you don't deal with it in the manner that we select, well, we'll just further put you into the program and maybe into one of those psychiatric units, right? It's so cool to see the Kids for Cash for Kids network just running rampant, right? So, I mean, how cool is it to watch this come down the pike when it was like, the county's gonna need 19,500 behavioral health workers. That's pretty crazy, right? And then we have these ambulances that actually drug people. They give them ketamine and Versed, who knows, something a little up their nose so that they pass out and then they rape them, right? And then they put them in jail and they're like, listen, we're gonna put you in solitary confinement and we're gonna put you in detox. We're not gonna do any drug tests because we can't show people the drugs that we're giving you. But we're also just gonna Prop 36 you to just keep you in the flow. Psychopaths.
Next speaker, please. If I've called your name, please come forward.
Mark, items 3 and 4 are in direct violation of the U.S. Constitution's Posse Comitatus Act. Item 8, behavioral health systems should not allow pharmaceutical companies to drug homeless people against their will. People the government has impoverished by the Federal Reserve intentionally causing inflation, which is bankrupting our country right now. Bankrupting and drugging homeless people with our tax dollars is pure evil. Item 12, Sandag is usurping congressional powers to unconstitutionally control our border as a mega region. No to Joel Anderson on Border Committee. Highest Authority Rosa Corey explains this global totalitarian United Nations Agenda 21 coup on our government to make us the North American Union, where you have no Bill of Rights, only privileges. Explains the treasonous mega region scam in this YouTube video title at 23 minutes. Our Southern California mega region breaks jurisdictional boundaries by combining us with Mexico. Governor Newsom is a young global leader for the World Economic Forum, and Joel will be rubber stamping UN Agenda 21 policies, which are being implemented globally now, as most people do not even know this Board of Supervisors or SANDEC exist.
So I have about 50 seconds left, and I want to point out that, let's see, here, that's an extension of the last one. Here's the Rosa Corey video. You actually want to see part 2 at 23 minutes if you want to see the mega regions that SANDAG, and to a certain degree this board, more SANDAG, and there are members of the board here that are on SANDAG, or will be if Joel gets on there. And Rosa Corey talks a lot about this. I don't have time. I have 15 seconds, but you guys need to see part 2 of this at 23 minutes. You really need to see at least the first and second part. It's the United Nations, Agenda 21 take over our country. It's real, and she's certified in a court. So.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Don't start my time. I'm speaking to the redevelopment successor agency item, maybe the other ones, but I'm going to start with that one. I used the name Michael. On the surface, this sounds completely innocuous, moving money from one account to another, having to do with redefining the names of these agencies. But what I thought was interesting in this item is that it's tied to business having to do with the State of California Corporation, specifically AB, it looks like X126 and AB 1484. And that's referred to as the Dissolution Act. This item says that all of this moving around has to do with helping to improve the health and public safety of residents. Is that really true? Because from your behavior, we haven't seen that in the past 6 years. And also, this item has to do with, rearranging property tax funds. And just the whole foundation of property tax is another scam. And that's interesting because all of this ties into what Tara often talks about, predatory capitalism. The point being is this item on the surface sounds completely innocuous, but yet it's more smoke and mirrors, making it seem like something good is going on because you're having to do what the state has to do, when really what you and the state do work together, just like what you do with US Inc. And all of this is not going to last. It's really ironic because it's not sustainable. This item says that this is for a just and sustainable and resilient future for all. But yet everything this board does goes against that, even attacking children, even attacking animals, even promoting horse abuse. We do not consent. We do not comply. You have failed. You have already failed.
As the next speaker is coming forward, I'll call the final speaker in person, CK Calderon Vargas.
My name is Andrea Ebbing. Would you hand a 5-year-old a machine gun? It's basically what you'd be doing if you approved anything further for Summer Stephan. Summer Stephan, if you don't recall, charged a 13-year-old boy with the murder and rape of his sister because he was playing video games during the investigation, while the real murderer was right down the street with her blood all over him. But he's walking freely because she messed up the case so severely because she was the worst district attorney in the entire building. But Bonnie Dumanis appointed her illegally against our rights, which is a total violation of our civil rights, when her husband is federal judge Dana Sabra, which makes it impossible for us to enact SB 54. She's also a liar. A major liar, the kind of liar that ruins people's lives forever, children's lives forever. Why would we ever give somebody like that any access to any military anything. This woman said she wouldn't take law enforcement donations, correct? That was public, but in 2025 on sdvote.com, according to 460 forums, 36,000 lines of donations from law enforcement only. Now, I've tracked all of our spending. I know every single cent she spent since 2019, 2018 on, and boy, did she change her behavior after I started auditing her. But not so much, you know, it's being pushed into Nathan Fletcher and all these other ways. But I would say the least trustworthy person in the county, the person that's responsible for us having Todd Gloria as a mayor who should have been charged with felony fraud, but she identified a person that was going to carry out her agenda. Come on. I mean, look what he's done to the city, right? So any alignment with her is being scrutinized, reported. Just because I'm not emailing anybody doesn't mean I'm not taking action. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Sique Calderon Vargas. I'm here to speak on item 3. I am here on behalf of the San Diego LGBT Community Center. We appreciate the board's commitment to transparency through this process. However, we want to respectfully raise a concern. The militarization of our sheriff's office has a real impact on our most vulnerable community members, including LGBTQ+ people, immigrants, and communities of color. For many of them, armored vehicles, drones, and heavy weapons do not feel like safety. They feel like a threat, and that fear leads people to avoid calling for help when they need it most. We kindly ask that as you renew this policy, you prioritize strong civil rights protections and meaningful community oversight. True public safety is built on trust. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We'll now hear from those that requested to speak by phone. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments. We will start with our first caller.
Swallow here. Okay. Let's see. Of course, start my time because I'm not ready to speak. But okay, I'll just start with saying, okay, this consent calendar isn't just a lot of unrelated items. Again, it's a pattern of expanding departments, increasing salaries, and layering more bureaucracy onto systems that are already struggling to serve the public effectively. We're seeing the continued buildup of enforcement capacity, military-grade equipment that will be used against the people, drones and surveillance tools approved under the language of safety, but with very little public clarity on limits, oversight, or long-term use. At the same time, taxpayer money is being funneled into reactive programs addressing the consequences of failed systems rather than fixing the root causes those systems helped create. And then there's the reliance on outside funding, grants, and programs that don't come without influence. When policy starts aligning with funding streams instead of the direct needs of the people, that's a big problem. Even infrastructure projects, like nearly $4 million, a $4 million training facility, that definitely deserves scrutiny. Let's see. What else do I have here? Yeah, basically, you guys use our money like you got a blank check. And you can call all these separate items, but together they tell a clear story. More control, more spending, more dependency, and less accountability. And the people footing the bill are the ones asking the fewest questions, quite frankly. So, yeah, to put it plainly, at what...
Thank you. We'll hear from the next caller.
All above. Number 11. It's unacceptable, the compensation ordinance amendment. Why is the chief people officer getting a substantial salary reduction? He or she designs and implements programs to build workforce resilience and enhance leadership within the county, things that are highly needed in these times of financial and social stress, especially for county leadership. Number 8, the BHS junk. A government ploy to set up behavioral health services as a new department and not worth the extra costs, including adjustments to governance, organizational alignment, staffing, training, and medical and resource deployment. BHS uses many of the same resources as a hospital. BHS and other medical services belong in the same organization. Doing this may also end up denying full support to the people who need Medi-Cal and CalFresh. I urge you to reject this scheme. 4, the new DA policy needs to set a dollar limit on acquiring new equipment without board approval. It is our tax money the DA is using. In the report, we need to know what the original cost, date bought, and uses of military equipment are, like the sheriff's report. We need an update before this is approved. Transparency. Why do we need a list without critical information? What good is it?
Thank you. Hear from the next caller.
Kathleen Lippett here. Thank you again for letting me speak. Item 6, authorize acceptance of funding for refugee health programs and apply for additional funding opportunities. Will this board also look for opportunities to help its own residents with inadequate, unaffordable, or no health care funding available to them? Item 7, authorize acceptance of funding to address STD infections and apply for future funding opportunities. Does this board recognize that the risk of contracting STDs increases precipitously when under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, and other drugs? This is yet another reason to emphasize primary prevention strategies over harm reduction. The board should be lobbying also the state to stop releasing sexually violent offenders into unincorporated communities or any other community for that matter. Item 10, enhance traffic safety in unincorporated communities through increased CHP coordination. Do not make the CHP's job more difficult by considering adding consumption lounges in the backcountry. And last, modernizing the San Diego County Charter to strengthen transparency, accountability, and independent oversight. If this isn't verbal linguistics, I don't know what is. This is the opposite of what that item is. And please, don't let the Javier's health continue to be destroyed. Kicking this can down the road speaks volumes about your failures to protect the most vulnerable. This is an easy fix. Stand up and do it. Thank you very much for letting me speak.
Thank you. We'll hear from the next caller.
Hi, my name is Madison, and I'm speaking on item 10. Our backcountry roads are already challenging. They're rural, often dark, and have limited emergency response access. Strengthening enforcement and prevention in these areas is critical. So, of course, I support this item. But I want to raise an important concern. While we are working to improve traffic safety, we should not simultaneously consider other policies that could make that job harder. Specifically, adding marijuana storefronts and consumption lounges in backcountry areas would move us in the wrong direction. These are places where people would be consuming intoxicating products and then getting behind the wheel on rural roads, often with long distances to travel and few transportation alternatives. Unlike alcohol, we still do not have a reliable, practical way to measure marijuana impairment at the roadside. That puts law enforcement, including CHP, in a very difficult position. We are asking them to keep roads safe without giving them the tools they need to consistently identify impairment of marijuana-related driving. Expanding access to mind-altering drugs increases the likelihood of impaired driving. If we are serious about improving traffic safety, then all of our policies need to align with that goal. Please support efforts that strengthen road safety and avoid adding new risks that will make enforcement more difficult and our roads less safe. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the next caller.
It's truth. Item 2, instead of the county figuring out how to convince women to stop doing drugs and committing crimes at record rates and ending up at Las Colinas, or figuring out how to stop the child abuse going on at East Mesa, they're funding $2 million classes on trees and giving gaslighting political proxy about children and sewage as if they actually care. Item 6, there's no doubt that there's rampant fraud within both the Refugee Health Assessment Program and the Refugee Health Promotion Project, which alleged community providers have contracts for these programs. If they find a concerning mental health screening, what do they do with that refugee? Who pays for all the further medical evaluations and treatments? This all needs a Nick Shirley-esque deep dive. I know you guys fear that. Item 8, the fact that this scheme to turn behavioral health, aka profiting off pill pushing, into a separate billion-dollar organization thrown into consent is proof of the county's nefarious intentions. Item 10, good on Jim putting forward a future overdue traffic safety strategy and trying to get the state to invest in more CHP officers. Probably not going to happen, but I support it. Item 11, no to a chief people officer getting paid up to $255,000 a year. Manuel is anti-people enough as it is. No to changing Cesar Chavez Day to Farm Workers Day just because Cesar supported ICE and Dolores Huerta as a promiscuous fraudster. I support not naming any day after communists and instead changing it to John Adams Day since he supported freedom for all American citizens. And no to a $1,000 a month taxpayer-funded allowance for each supervisor to drive a car when they should be walking as part of their crazy climate cold action plan. Item 12, no to Joel as an alternate on the Sandag Borders and Regional Planning Committees. Not only is he proven to be as corrupt as Tara and Manuela, but also like them, he doesn't even pay attention. But Tara picking Joel says everything anyone could ever want to know about the two parties that have both helped to make this a disgusting, toxic, vomit-inducing political theater show held in the gaslight torture chambers, well-funded by corrupt unions and put on by the board of wannabe dictators. And for what reason is meeting an hour later than usual to Tara and Manuela wipe?
Thank you. We'll now hear from the next caller.
Good morning, Peggy Walker. Regarding item 10, yes, please do not contribute to more traffic issues in the county, the rural areas, by adding the fee program. The American College of Surgeons, for one, shows that nearly half of drivers killed in car crashes had THC in their blood at dangerously high levels. The study showed that traffic deaths from THC are soaring, and legalization does not slow the trend but escalates it, and has called for stronger anti-drug driving campaigns. We do not need more drivers under the influence of THC in our rural areas. I hope you will consider this. This is a serious, ongoing public health concern, driving under the influence. And it's not only drivers and crash fatalities, it's injuries to victims and others who are victims of those driving under the influence of marijuana. Please, no more marijuana businesses in our rural areas. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll hear from the next caller.
No, 1 second. I'm just pulling up my speech.
And if you could please state your name for the record.
Andrew James Marta. And sorry, I have autism, so I'm a little nervous. I'd like to first start off by saying, ladies and gentlemen of the board and San Diego community, in support of the Armenian community, I would first like to state, for when we forget the tragedies of the past, we allow them to be repeated in the dark of the present. I just want to say that, and condolences with the Armenian community. So I will begin my speech now. Members of the board, John F. Kennedy once stated, "For the great enemy of the truth is very often not the lie, the deliberate, contrived, and dishonest, but the myth, persistent, persuasive, and unrealistic." Today, I'd like to talk to you about the IMPACT program, which is a deadly myth. While they bill for 24-hour wraparound service care, the reality is a total abandonment of safety that resulted in the murder of Dennis Robinson at the Oak Park ILF, run by Friends Helping Friends, and a recent overdose at my current facility. You must stop funding the next overdose. You must stop contributing to the violence like at the Oak Park ILF. There is no longer just a program failure. It is a public health hazard funded by your signatures. I am an autistic survivor of abuse, trauma, and sexual assault. I sought safety, but instead I encountered and found myself in the middle of systematic public corruption committed by Joseph Ency. Mr. Ency maintains invested ownership in the Claremont ILF at 4001 Conrad Ave, a facility where I witnessed and endured racism, the bullying of mentally ill and disabled, drunken violence, and threats of homicide. I was forced to barricade.
We'll hear from the next caller.
Henry O here. Hey, what we got to do with all this corruption going on at the county, we got to hire Nick Shirley to figure out all the graft and the backroom deals and stuff. They put a law against him. You can't, the corrupt Democratic Party all throughout California, the governor's office, the state, you guys, the city council of San Diego, so corrupt. We got to hire Nick Shirley. He's got a law against him. We got to get like a year in jail for like undercovering Armenian guys. No, it wasn't Armenian, but somebody in LA, 500 autistic schools or this school, that school. We got a bunch of fraud in San Diego County. Right up to that, we got 75,000 people that are illegal aliens collecting Medi-Cal. That's big time fraud. They got to deport those guys and collect the money. So we need to hire Nick Shirley, give him a seat up on the board, and cut him loose with all these young guys. They know the story. Maybe Truth could be a sidekick now. She's a stormtrooper, man. Hire Truth and Nick Shirley and just clean up the joint, man. It is like so corrupt in the state of California. $14 billion on that railroad to nowhere. Pick up $1 billion from the state for us. And talk to Nancy Pelosi. She's the biggest stock scammer of all time. Why don't you guys get some tips from Nancy to increase the pension benefits or something? Go to Nancy. She's the most corrupt stock trader of all time. 10 times better than Warren Buffett. Insider Nancy, man. Before she kicks the bucket, man. So, thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the next caller.
Good morning. My name is Becky Raff, and I'd like to speak to item 8 and 10. I appreciate this board for prioritizing behavioral health services. We live in a critical time when investing in mental health and substance abuse awareness could not be more important. Substance abuse remains one of the most serious public health challenges that we face. Families across our county are dealing with addiction, mental health crisis, and the ripple effects of both. This includes marijuana, especially as products become more potent and more widely available. The expansion of the marijuana industry has increased access and normalization, and for young people and for individuals already vulnerable to mental health conditions, increased availability has seriously complicated mental health issues, ranging from anxiety, depression, and even psychosis. At a time when we're investing heavily in behavioral health systems, expanding treatment, improving access, and trying to stabilize lives and families, we should ask whether expanding access to another psychoactive substance aligns with those goals. This is about responsibility. Let's continue to move forward with strengthening behavioral health services, but let's also stand alone and not work against ourselves in implementing policies and ordinances such as the marijuana socially equitable program. We all want safer, healthier communities. Let's make sure every step we take moves us in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll hear from the next caller.
Curiosity, that application error, is that to discourage me from thinking I could talk or not? It's very, very interesting. But let's go ahead and talk about your stupid ass agenda topics because you want to be like Hitler, apparently. Right? So let's go ahead and go with this. On the consent calendar, routine items bundled for one motion approval, including public safety contracts. Yada, yada, yada. Training center, who cares? Also continued from the 24th, yeah, that's true. These items, public infrastructure claims transparency measures sit along the county compliance with Assembly Bill 54, which will commercialize plastic recycling to the oil industry or tech industry, whoever wants to take it. Basically capturing $2 billion from California that could actually reduce our taxes, fix our infrastructure. Yeah, no, that's pretty much right. And apparently connected to Summer Steffens too. That's freaking amazing. And she's helping you guys try to throw me in jail. And you fired all 4 lawyers. And the judge that was appointed, I was one of her first cases. It's friggin' amazing. All these coincidences, but I'm not supposed to think anything other than, just regular consent things, right? It's not like you're trying to hide anything or the union is actually controlling you, apparently, because in 2010, they fought against everything that they applied in your Assembly Bill 14. We could go through the history and we could take a look at the reason why they had to go to the people instead of just bypassing the people completely.
Thank you. We'll hear from the final caller.
Pam, let's see. Shall we do number 8 first? Nope, to the San Diego County Psychiatric Institution. What happens after discharge? I'll quote Hotel California. Program to receive, can check out anytime, but can never leave. Number 7, another issue for which individuals are not held to account. Why is the taxpayer responsible to provide treatment for an individual's sexual behavior? The amount of over $5 million is laughable. You play, you should pay. Number 6, more money, more freebies, more whatever, as long as you are a refugee, an asylum seeker, an illegal immigrant, which is a documented immigrant, whatever label you want to give people that are not American citizens, they're not entitled to any of this, and they need to be considered for deportation. American citizens must be prioritized over non-citizens.
Thank you. Chair Lawson-Remer, that concludes public comment on the items in the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you all so much. We have a motion on the floor by Vice Chair Montgomery Stepp and a second by Chair Pro Tem Aguirre. Chair Pro Tem Aguirre has her hand up to speak again.
Just really quickly, I want to acknowledge the comments made by Alicia Morrison regarding Lincoln Acres, and also add that we all have unincorporated areas in our districts that have issues with high speed and parking issues. I know that for a fact. We know we have that in Lincoln Acres and Spring Valley and Bonita. I've had several different town halls and community meetings where that's been brought up several different times. So very much supportive of the item and want us continuing pushing for all the districts within our county. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we can go ahead and vote.
Chair Lawson-Remer, that motion passes unanimously with all supervisors being present and voting aye.
Madam Chair, since we have a 1 o'clock certain, did you want to take a lunch break now?
So our county team's ready. So this is the plan. We want to do item 5, hopefully before lunch. I think the estimate based on number of speakers, it's been about 25 minutes. And then we'll take a lunch and we'll come back around 1:10 so we can get through item 5 before the next item, so we can kind of stay in order. Okay, thank you. County team would love to call you up for your presentation.
This first item for discussion is item 5, entitled Authorize Competitive Procurement for CalWORKs Employment and Supportive Services and Consultant Services.
Good afternoon, Chair Lawson-Remer and members of the board. CalWORKs is a critical safety net program that provides temporary cash assistance to eligible families with minor children. In addition to cash aid, there is a strong employment and supportive services component to assist parents with becoming self-sufficient. The county receives federal and state funding to provide these employment services to thousands of eligible CalWORKs recipients. Services are currently delivered by 2 contracted providers, and the contracts are scheduled to end on December 31st, 2026. Today, we are requesting authority to competitively reprocure these contracts to continue to support CalWORKs families. In addition, we are also seeking authority to procure a consultant to assess future opportunities to redesign our service delivery model. I will now turn the presentation over to Dr. Alberto Bañuelos to provide additional information about the services, contracts, and opportunities.
Thank you, Dr. Hernandez. Participation in the CalWORKs Employment Services Program is required for all employable CalWORKs adults participating to keep their cash aid. More than 12,000 residents currently participate and receive employment services each month. The program begins with an orientation and a one-on-one assessment to develop a personalized plan specifically tailored to the individual needs of each family in order to meet them where they are and to help them become work-ready. Employment case management supports participants with their tailored plans, which could include employment, education, training, and other activities. Employment Services also provides refugee employment case management for the refugee population. For those individuals who are work-ready, expanded subsidized employment services offer part-time or full-time subsidized positions through a partnership with local employers. Just as important are the additional supportive services to help families work through Just as important are the additional supported services to help families work through and remove any existing barriers to obtain education and/or job skills. Supports include subsidized childcare, housing assistance for families facing housing instability or homelessness, eviction prevention, and family stabilization such as utility assistance. Additional support may cover transportation, college textbooks, uniforms, and similar needs. Services also include specialized assistance for individuals with learning disabilities. While some recipients are excused or exempt from CalWORKs Employment Services, they may participate on a voluntary basis to support their self-sufficiency. California counties have discretion on how to administer this program to meet local needs. Since 1998, CalWORKs Employment Services in San Diego County have been partly outsourced to contractors, and by 2010, they became fully outsourced. Currently, services are delivered through 2 contracted providers at multiple sites across the county. Current providers have extensive experience in delivering employment services and are able to respond and adapt quickly to program and funding changes. The contracts in place now were last reprocured in 2018, and they will both expire on December 31st, 2026. To measure success, the state has defined metrics for CalWORKs Employment Services that are reported monthly. According to the state's CalWORKs Outcome and Accountability Review dashboard, the county consistently surpasses statewide benchmarks in peer counties. For example, the county has an overall higher engagement rate of 92.3 compared to the statewide average of 87.4, which demonstrates that the county has more parents participating in employment services and working towards self-sufficiency. The county also has a higher first activity attendance rate of 80.6% compared to the statewide average of 73.7, which demonstrates that more parents are engaged in employment services in the county upon enrolling in the CalWORKs program. Today's actions bring important opportunities for the county and community. Following the board's direction today, in alignment with new state law, we will confer with the relevant labor unions, then release a request for proposal for a competitive reprocurement of these services. Reprocurement of the services will support the county's equitable contracting priorities to make it easier for different organizations to serve the areas with the greatest need. The procurement will be broken into smaller contracts. It will also prioritize cultural responsiveness through service delivery models. This will expand opportunities for multiple diverse offers as well as promote partnerships. In parallel, we want to strategically enhance the program to meet emerging community and county needs, shifting state priorities and new state policy guidance. The CalWORKs program has expanded significantly over the years through state mandates. Requirements continue to evolve, and our service delivery model should evolve accordingly. In addition to the contract for employment and supportive services, staff will solicit consultant services to conduct a comprehensive assessment of the current CalWORKs employment services structure. The goal of the assessment is to propose data-driven enhancements for future service delivery. In 2027, staff will report back to the board with the consultant's findings and opportunities for policy consideration, which may include bringing some services in-house, offering programs in a different way, and other options. The consultant's recommendations will provide a proposed timeline to maximize operational efficiencies and program impact to the people we serve without disruption. Today's action requests the board to authorize the Director of Department of Purchasing and Contracting to issue a competitive solicitation for CalWORKs employment services, and upon successful negotiations and determination of fair and reasonable price, award one or more contracts for an initial term of 1 year and 4 one-year options and up to an additional 6 months. Authorize the Director of the Department of Purchasing and Contracting to issue a competitive solicitation for consultant services to conduct an assessment of the CalWORKs employment and supportive services program components, including an analysis of potential in-house model for service delivery. Chair and members of the board, this completes our presentation, and we're available to answer questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions before we go to public comment? Okay, then we'll turn to public comment.
Thank you, Chair Lawson Reamer. We have 15 requests to speak on this item, 7 in person and 8 requesting to speak by phone. Also note for the record that we received 3 e-comments. All of those were neutral. For any individuals that requested to speak on item 5 by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers. As your name is called, please come forward and stand on the arrows until it is your turn to speak at the podium. Because there are 10 or more speakers on this item, you'll have 1 minute to address the board, and please begin by stating your name for the audio record. I'll be calling you in groups of 3, so I'll ask you to please listen for your name. I'd like to invite forward the first 3 individuals, Cesar Javier, allegedly Audra, and Michael Brando. If I've called your name, please come forward.
Cesar and Purita. San Diegans procured a worker by election, Mr. Elo Rivera, who is aspiring to be the mayor of City of San Diego. We have to procure competitively, meaning selection of a group of people or individual person, if only to deliver what our Constitution has already engraved. I hope Madam Rimer has understood what I said in my humble English. You were with the Air Pollution Control District, one of the senior members, including the mayor, whose qualification as the possession of big scissor and wide ribbon and smiling like Mona Lisa. We do not procure those kind of higher form of animals.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Next speaker, please. Thank you.
I use the name Michael. I want to be clear that people in need, genuine need, deserve help. And if someone can benefit from something like this, that's great. However, I'm going to widen the aperture again because this all goes back to the scams that are being run here. This consistently says that it wants people, specifically low-income people, to achieve economic independence. You know, in other words, be free and to thrive. But this is always on your terms, your terms. So again, some people can't thrive and become free when the wider system is corrupt as can be, and you are aiding and abetting it. This ridiculous title of a department, self-sufficiency services, no, because you're not about self-sufficiency, you're about dependency. We do not consent, we do not comply.
As the next speaker is coming forward, I'll invite 3 additional speakers, Mark, Casey Shirk, and Dave Lagstein.
Oh my gosh, Elizabeth, are you on your way out? It says interim, interesting. That'll be interesting to watch you go, pluck you out like a chin hair. Okay, so is this a joke? You guys have your child trafficking network here, and they're talking about providing child care and actually getting people from dependency to self-sufficiency. I'm wondering how that really happens when you guys torture children. And then, like, is the child care at Polensky where they sexually abuse children?
Can you pause the speaker's time?
Sure. I know, truth is so bad.
Just please make sure that it's clear, the nexus between your comments and the item. Thank you.
You know it. This has to do with that. This is for families and kids. And what you guys do with families that have children is you target them and then you go manufacture cases, right, Elizabeth? And you guys take children from them. I know that you're incubating adrenochrome right now, but this is actually happening in...
Her time. That is still not on topic. That's not the topic of the competitive solicitation. So this is your second warning. Your time is forfeited. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Hello, good morning. My name is Casey Shirk. I am an SCIU 221 member and a human services specialist for 2 years. I urge you to vote yes on item 5. In my position, I have determined eligibility for hundreds of CalWORKs cases where I have fielded my clients' righteous frustration about PCG and EQUIS. Issues from never answering their phone to incorrectly placing sanctions, PCG and EQUIS has been unreliable in handling these programs. This leaves our clients in a horrible situation. PCG and EQUIS failed to respond to clients timely, leading to a delay or discontinuance of benefits. Our clients are then left without the ability to pay their bills. Workers are left with only one option: continue calling PCG and EQUIS. With nothing left for us to do, workers take on that frustration too, and it creates more work later as we have to reopen cases left unresolved a month later. These consequences lead to employee burnout and stress. I urge you to consider taking these programs in-house. County employees.
Thank you. As the next speaker is coming forward, I'll invite the final speaker in person, Andrea Ebbing.
Mark, item 5, $50,500,000 in fiscal year 26-27, which includes an estimated one-time cost of up to $500,000 for the assessment of the CalWORKs employment services, an estimated cost and revenue of $50 million in fiscal year 27-28. That is $101 million by 2028, $500,000 of which is a ridiculous amount paid to so-called consultants to dictate unsustainable bullshit that destroys taxpayers. For $100 million, Appy's Court can 3D print 9,867 409 square foot homes. That is enough to house almost every homeless person in San Diego County. In a row, these homes could cover.
Okay, reminder, this needs to be on topic. This is your first warning.
I am on topic because specifically this agenda item, stop my time. You didn't stop it.
Stop it while I was talking.
Well,
the time is not stopped while you were talking.
No, you need to stop it because I have a right under 54954 3C to critique omissions.
Okay, your time is expired, sir. Please leave the dais. Sir, that's not the topic. The topic is the competitive solicitation. The topic is that your time is expired. Please leave the podium.
Next speaker, please.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Dave Lagstein from SEIU Local 221. Happy to be here. I do want to begin, Supervisor Desmond, congratulations on your endorsement from President Trump in your run for Congress. As to the task at hand, I want to note that this board has started to look at insourcing to support workers for critical programs like CalWORKs, which provide better services and save money. And looking at this as part of this item is a part of it. And of course, the committee that Supervisor Aguirre and Supervisor Anderson is part of this important work as well. I also want to thank Ebony and the team in making a last-minute adjustment on this item to make sure that we don't lose the opportunity for such an important program like CalWORKs to make sure, we know already, we're going to tell us that county employees can do this job better. And looking at that as a part of it, we can't just snap our fingers and bring things in-house. There has to be a process. This is an important part of it, and SIU is happy to work with you. So thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I'm Andrea Ebbing, and I just want to know who will oversee that process once the procurement process is in place, because if we remember, we did a $6 million contract with a dope dealing rehab owner, right? We wanted to just avoid all the fentanyl fatalities and avoid the caretaker, Dr. Christian Small, who I was reporting for 3 years leading up to the Blue Cross Blue Shield Oklahoma lawsuit for $10 million for body brokering, insurance fraud, fatalities, opioid distribution, which I talked to their attorney several times and let them know that the county and city ignored every single one of my complaints. So who's going to oversee that process? Is it going to be Eve Babcock, who signed for John Pellegrino on December 24th? They don't even work on a Tuesday. You think they really work on Christmas Eve for a $1.5 million contract? The fraud is outrageous, and I think there should be oversight over whatever the process is. Thanks.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. We will begin with our first caller.
Also, two of the funding sources are federal and state allocation revenue. Since both of those people, federal and state, are broke, I wouldn't count on all of the funding when you need it. And another source of the funding is Refugee Support Services federal funding. Do not count on the feds giving money to refugees. I don't think that's in the cards, frankly. And we should know how much the one-time realignment is and from where it will come. Money's tight. Many of the programs here look good. It's probably some kind of advertisement, ad biz. County does that all the time.
Okay, hear from the next caller.
Okay, Consuelo here. Okay, CalWORKs is being presented as a pathway to self-sufficiency, but what we're actually seeing is the system strengthening their grasp. If the system were truly working, people would be moving through it and out of it instead of it. It continues to expand. More contracts, more funding, layers, like something that sustains itself rather than solves the problem. Programs like this weren't meant to be temporary. Over time, they have proven that they've purposely created long-term dependency instead of real independence. And yes, there have been concerns raised across California about the oversight, accountability, and misuse of funds. When taxpayer dollars are involved, trust the system is not enough. So yeah, because self-sufficiency isn't a talking point, it's an outcome. If people aren't leaving stronger, more stable and independent, if people aren't leaving...
We'll hear from the next caller.
Hey, it's Truth. I appreciate the compliments and fiery comments today. I can't wait to work with Nick Shirley to uncover the fraud going on with the county social safety net that basically only benefits illegal aliens, not San Diego-based American citizens. And that's why the data was manipulated by staff. I'm sure Terry yelled at them to get what she wanted, just like she did with DA Summer. They obfuscated data when they said more welfare recipients are enrolled in work programs in San Diego than anywhere else in California. Wrong. There's really just more welfare recipients in San Diego, thanks to Biden's open border. And why is this HHSA contract competitive, but the contract with J.C. Cooper was a sole source backroom deal by Terra? Is it because this $50 million deal is partly funded by the federal government, who may not tolerate fraud as easily as the state does? So I support the elimination of all CalWORKs fraud going on. Again, I ask, for what reason is this meeting an hour later than usual, with this item not being heard until lunchtime? Too much SEIU butt-kissing this morning? I hope the feds defund this program and your jobs in fraud.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the next caller.
Gambler here. You know, I recognize you actually do pay attention to what I have to say, but there's one slight problem with that. You don't have a funding source. Unless if you're planning on replacing the workers on these projects that have been deported with the illegal, legal, whatever you want to go ahead and say, migrants that are getting our funds and forcing them to go ahead and work at a lower rate. I mean, it's just going to cut costs for them. It's not going to save us anything, right? We're going to basically foot the bill to build these projects now. No, it's quite amazing, the fact that you refuse to acknowledge Julian Brown's technology, which would bring $2 billion, and it could fund all these stupid projects that you have. But no, you want to go ahead and give that technology because Monica supports suppressing Black voices in order to get rich, right? I mean, that's flat out what it is. Julian Brown came up with the technology.
Thank you. We'll hear from the final caller.
Ray, well, this is interesting. Why the more taxpayer government overseen programs, why are we not directing individuals who seek work to private entities such as, you know, the San Diego Auto Museum actually trains mechanics? What about Mike Rowe? He has a huge program to help people get into the trade and be independent. The more control this government has over private citizens, the worse they're going to be. It's just like building affordable housing. There's no incentive for anyone to improve their lives. And by the way, who is vetting the child care givers? This is absurd. This needs to stop unless you put American families first and foremost and not illegal immigrants, documented, whatever label you want to use.
Thank you. For the record, the speaker was Pam, and Chair Lawson-Remer. That concludes public comment on this item.
Okay, thank you so much. Turning it over to the Vice Chair.
Thank you. I'm happy to move the item. I specifically want to point out the in-house component. I think for the last couple of years, I've been trying to dig a little bit more into where the overlap is between what our county workers are doing and what the contracting services are doing. And also just from a little bit of the testimony today, just hearing how oftentimes our county workers have to clean up after what contractors are doing and saying. And so that certainly is an efficiency issue that I know that my colleagues are going to be looking into, but it's an ongoing conversation. It's a perfect opportunity to see that analysis so that we can make more informed decisions. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, so turning it over to the Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm happy to second. And I just want to add that I think that we need to see stronger standards of accountability in this next phase, which include clear performance expectations, optimal customer service, and measurable outcomes for the families we serve. I'm glad that the in-source option has been added because I think that we need to bring more of these services in-house. I think it would strengthen oversight, improve consistency, and better connect clients to county resources so that we can build a lasting public sector capacity. So happy to support the item. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We have a motion on the floor and a second. I'm not seeing any of the speakers. Please vote.
Chair Lawson-Remer, that motion passes unanimously with all supervisors being present and voting aye.
Okay, thank you very much. It is about 12:27. If we could be back here, does 12:10 work for folks? Yes? I mean 1:10? 1:10, what, is that enough time for everyone to eat? Paloma, okay, 1:15. Paloma, thank you, Chair Pro Tem. Okay, we'll be back at 1:15.